After many years, Ravi finally returned to the old lake cabin that had once been his grandfather's favorite place in the world. It sat quietly by the water, surrounded by tall trees and the smell of pine. The air felt clean, untouched by city noise or problems. The wooden steps creaked just like they did when he was a child, and the porch swing still swayed gently with the wind. Ravi had spent almost every summer of his childhood here. His grandfather, Baba, had bought the place in the 1970s when the area was nothing but forest and water. Now, things had changed. A homeowners association or HOA had formed in the area. New houses had been built, and with them came new people, new rules, and unfortunately, new problems. But Ravi didn't come back for trouble. He had taken a long break from his busy job in the city and wanted some peace. After working in law enforcement for nearly 10 years, his mind needed rest. What many people didn't know and what he didn't talk about was that his entire family worked in government service. His father was a retired federal officer, his sister worked in investigations, and even his cousin was in federal law. But here, at the lake cabin, none of that mattered. At least, that's what he thought. The first few days were perfect. Ravi cleaned the porch, fixed the broken lock on the shed, and even made a small garden like Baba used to. Every morning, he would sit by the lake with a cup of tea and just breathe. Sometimes, old neighbors would stop by and say hello, remembering his grandfather with kind smiles. But not everyone was friendly. One afternoon, as Ravi was trimming the edge of the garden, a woman he had never seen before walked up to the fence. She wore sunglasses even though it was cloudy, and her voice carried that sharp tone people use when they believe they are always right. "Excuse me," she said, not bothering to greet him. "Are you the new renter?" Ravi stood up and wiped his hands on a cloth. "No, I'm the owner. My grandfather built this cabin." The woman narrowed her eyes. "This cabin belongs to the neighborhood now. We have rules. You should have contacted the HOA before moving in." Ravi kept his voice calm. "I didn't move in. Just here for a break. And I'm not renting. This place has been in my family for more than 40 years. The woman crossed her arms. "I'm Karen, the HOA president. My son has been eyeing this cabin for months. It would be better if someone young took care of it. Maybe it's time to sell." Ravi raised an eyebrow. "I'm not interested in selling. This place has memories." Karen gave a fake smile. "Well, you should still read the HOA guidebook. We have standards. That fence is too old. And I hope you're not planning to have guests or parties." Ravi nodded politely. "Thanks for your concern." She didn't like that answer. With a little humph, she walked away. Over the next few days, strange things began happening. A warning notice appeared on Ravi's front door, saying the paint color didn't match the neighborhood theme. Then came a second note about his mailbox being too small. Ravi ignored them. The cabin was private property, and none of the HOA's silly complaints could change that. But Karen wasn't done. One morning, Ravi heard a loud knock at the door. When he opened it, 2 local police officers stood on the porch. "Sir," one of them said, "we received a complaint that you're trespassing on private property." Ravi blinked, confused. "What? This is my cabin. I have the papers." The officer looked uncomfortable. "Do you have ID?" Ravi stepped inside and brought out the deed and his ID. The officer checked the documents and then gave Ravi a small smile. "Everything's in order," he said. "Sorry for the trouble. The person who called us claimed this place was abandoned. Ravi nodded. Let me guess, a lady named Karen. The officer laughed softly. Yes. She's called us before. We'll make a note of this. After they left, Ravi sat on the porch, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. All he wanted was peace. He didn't come here to fight with anyone. But it was clear now Karen wanted his cabin gone. What she didn't know was that Ravi wasn't alone. His family wasn't just a regular family. And if she pushed too far, things would unfold that she never expected. As the sun set behind the trees, Ravi stood quietly and looked at the calm lake. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't angry anymore either. He was ready. Because sometimes, the quiet ones are the ones with the strongest roots. The next morning, Ravi woke up to the soft sound of birds singing and the gentle ripple of water against the shore. For a moment, the peacefulness of the lake cabin made him forget about Karen and her complaints. But the memories of the police visit and the warning note still lingered in his mind. He took a deep breath and decided to make the best of his time here. After all, this was his family's place, a symbol of love, history, and hard work. Baba had always said the cabin was like a second home, a place where hearts could heal. Just as Ravi was about to step outside, he heard the crunch of footsteps on the gravel driveway. Looking through the window, he saw a tall man standing near the porch. The stranger wore a simple jacket and carried a small bag. His face was kind but serious. Ravi opened the door and greeted him cautiously. "Hello, can I help you?" The man smiled gently. "My name is Arjun. I'm an old friend of your grandfather's." Ravi's surprise was clear. "Arjun? I don't think I've ever met you." Arjun nodded. "That's true. Baba and I met many years ago through work. He trusted me a lot. He told me to look after the cabin if anything ever happened to him. I'm here to help you." Ravi felt a strange warmth in his chest. After all the tension, this was a welcome change. "Thank you, Arjun. I appreciate that." The two men sat on the porch swing, sharing stories about Baba's younger days. Arjun spoke softly about how Baba was always honest and kind, but also strong when it came to protecting what mattered to him. "I know things aren't easy here now," Arjun said. "The neighborhood has changed, and some people don't understand what this place really means." Ravi nodded. "There's a woman, Karen. She's the HOA president. She already called the cops on me, and her son wants this cabin." Arjun's eyes darkened slightly. "I see. That's unfortunate." Ravi sighed. "I don't want trouble. I just want to enjoy this place the way Baba did." Arjun smiled. "Then let's make sure no one takes that away from you." Over the next few days, Arjun helped Ravi fix parts of the cabin that had fallen into disrepair. Together, they cleaned the windows, repaired the old fence, and even planted flowers in the garden. Arjun seemed to know every inch of the cabin as if he had been there many times before. One afternoon, while they were painting the porch, Ravi asked, "Arjun, how did Baba trust you so much?" Arjun paused and looked out at the lake. "Because I was once where you are now. I lost someone I loved, and this cabin was the only place that made me feel safe. Baba knew that." Ravi understood then. This wasn't just a place of wood and nails, it was a place of memories and healing. That was why Karen's threats felt so wrong. One evening, after the sun dipped below the trees and the sky turned orange, Ravi heard voices outside. He looked through the window and saw Karen standing near the mailbox, talking to a young boy, her son. Her son was about 10 years old, wearing a bright red cap and looking curious as he pointed toward the cabin. Ravi felt a sudden wave of protectiveness. He stepped outside. "Hello," he said calmly. "Can I help you?" Karen looked surprised but quickly put on her usual sharp smile. "Ravi, isn't it? My son was just admiring your cabin." The boy looked at Ravi shyly but then spoke up. "Dad said this cabin is really old, and he thinks you should sell it to us. We want to build a new one." Ravi knelt down to the boy's level and smiled gently. "That's kind of you. But this cabin means a lot to my family. We don't want to sell." The boy looked down, and Ravi could see he didn't understand why. Karen cleared her throat. "Well, it's just the way things work around here. Rules are rules." Ravi stood back up. "I respect rules. But sometimes, it's important to remember what makes a place special, not just what it looks like on paper." Karen narrowed her eyes but said nothing more. She pulled her son away and left, casting one last cold look at Ravi. That night, Ravi sat by the fireplace inside the cabin, thinking about the day's events. He felt tired, but also determined. This cabin was more than wood and nails. It was a symbol of his family's past and future. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was a message from his sister, Maya. "Heard about Karen? Be careful. We're here if you need us." Ravi smiled, feeling a little safer. He wasn't alone in this fight. His family might live in different cities and work in different jobs, but they always looked out for each other. As the fire crackled and the night grew deeper, Ravi made a silent promise to himself: no matter what happened, he would protect the lake cabin. Not just for himself, but for Baba, for Maya, and for all the memories that made this place home. The next morning, Ravi woke up early, the golden sunlight spilling through the cabin's window. The lake was calm, and a light mist hovered over the water, making everything look soft and quiet. Despite the peace outside, Ravi's mind was busy. Karen's words and her son's visit kept coming back to him. How could someone not understand the meaning of memories and family? He decided to take a walk along the edge of the lake, hoping the fresh air would clear his thoughts. The wooden dock stretched out into the water, worn but still strong. As Ravi stepped onto the dock, he noticed something unusual: a small, folded paper stuck between the cracks of the wood. He picked it up and carefully unfolded it. It was a note, written in neat handwriting: "You don't belong here. Let go before it's too late." Ravi's heart tightened. Who had left this message? Was it Karen, or someone else? He looked around. The area was quiet except for the gentle splash of fish jumping in the water. No one was near. Still, the note felt like a warning, a sign that this peaceful place wasn't as safe as it seemed. Ravi folded the paper and put it in his pocket. He decided to keep the secret for now. There was no need to worry Maya or the others just yet. Back inside the cabin, Ravi found Arjun waiting with a cup of hot tea. "Morning," Arjun said with a warm smile. Ravi handed him the note without saying a word. Arjun read it slowly, his face growing serious. "This isn't just a simple warning. Someone wants to scare you." Ravi frowned. "Why? What have I done?" "Sometimes," Arjun said carefully, "it's not about what you do. It's about what others want. People change when they want something badly. They forget kindness." Ravi nodded, feeling the weight of the words. That afternoon, Ravi decided to visit the local library to find old records about the neighborhood and the cabin. Maybe he could learn more about how the place had changed over the years. The library was a small building with wooden shelves full of dusty books and papers. The librarian, a gentle old woman named Mrs. Patel, greeted Ravi with a kind smile. "Looking for something special?" she asked. "Yes," Ravi said. "I want to learn about the history of this area, especially the cabins and the lake." Mrs. Patel nodded and led him to a corner filled with old newspapers and records. As Ravi flipped through the pages, he discovered stories about families who had lived by the lake, about the first houses built, and about the formation of the HOA many years ago. One article caught his attention. It was about a disagreement between some old neighbors and the HOA. The article mentioned how some families had been forced to sell their properties after strict new rules were applied. The story hinted at tensions and conflicts but didn't say much else. Ravi felt a chill. Could this be the reason Karen and her son wanted his cabin? Was there a hidden story behind all the friendly smiles? When he left the library, the sky was turning gray, and a soft rain began to fall. He hurried back to the cabin, feeling more aware than ever that the peaceful lake had its secrets. That evening, Ravi received a call from Maya. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "I'm fine," he replied. "But things feel strange. Someone left a warning note. And I found old news about families forced to sell their homes here." Maya's voice grew serious. "Be careful, Ravi. This isn't just about a cabin. There's more going on. If you need help, just say the word." Ravi smiled, grateful for his sister's support. "Thanks, Maya. I'll keep you updated." After the call, Ravi sat outside on the porch, watching the rain fall softly on the lake. The quiet was still there, but now it felt different, like the calm before a storm. Arjun joined him, handing over a warm blanket. "Baba would want you to stand strong," Arjun said quietly. "No matter what happens, this place belongs to your family." Ravi wrapped the blanket around his shoulders and looked at the dark water. "I won't let anyone take it away." Just then, a small movement caught their attention. A pair of eyes shone from the woods across the lake, watching silently. Ravi felt a chill run down his spine. He knew this was only the beginning. The next morning, the lake was calm again, but Ravi couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him. The mysterious eyes from the night before stayed in his mind. Who could be observing the cabin from the woods? And why? Arjun noticed Ravi's unease as they shared breakfast in the cozy kitchen. "You seem worried," he said gently. Ravi sighed. "There's someone watching the cabin. I don't know who, but it's unsettling." Arjun nodded. "In times like this, it's best to stay calm and strong. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond." Ravi looked at the old man, grateful for his calm presence. "I want to protect this place, no matter what." Arjun smiled warmly. "Good. That is the quiet strength Baba spoke of." After breakfast, Ravi decided to take a walk through the neighborhood. Maybe meeting some neighbors could help him understand what was really happening. He hoped to find friends, not more problems. As he walked down the street, the houses looked neat, with freshly painted doors and trimmed lawns. Children played outside, and neighbors greeted each other with smiles. But Ravi noticed a few cold stares too. Some people whispered behind their hands, and a few closed their doors quickly as he passed. At the end of the street, Ravi saw a small park where children's laughter echoed. A woman sat on a bench watching her kids play. Ravi approached her politely. "Hello, I'm Ravi. I just moved back to the lake cabin." The woman smiled gently. "Hi Ravi, I'm Neha. I've lived here for 10 years. It's nice to meet you." Ravi felt relieved. It's good to meet you too. I wanted to ask, have you noticed any problems with the HOA or neighbors? Neha's smile faded slightly. Well, the HOA is strict. They want the neighborhood to look perfect, but sometimes they forget people have feelings too. Ravi nodded. I've had a few issues already. And the HOA president, Karen, seems unhappy about my family cabin. Neha's eyes softened. Karen can be tough. But not everyone agrees with her. Some of us want the neighborhood to feel like a real community, not just rules and fences. Ravi smiled. That's good to hear. Maybe we can work together to make things better. Neha nodded. I hope so. As they talked, a young boy ran up, holding a small wooden birdhouse. Mom, look what I made, he said proudly. Neha smiled. That's wonderful, Rohan. Why don't you help Mr. Ravi hang it near his cabin? Ravi laughed. I'd love that. Later that day, Ravi and Arjun worked together to hang the birdhouse on a tree near the cabin. It felt like a small sign of friendship in a place filled with tension. That evening, Ravi called Maya again. I met some neighbors today. Not everyone is against me. That's great, Maya said happily. Sometimes, kindness spreads slowly. Keep building those bridges. Ravi smiled. I will. Just as he was about to end the call, he heard a soft knock on the door. He opened it to find Neha standing there with a warm basket of homemade cookies. I thought you might like these, she said kindly. Welcome to the neighborhood. Ravi's heart warmed. Thank you, Neha. This means a lot. She smiled. We're stronger when we support each other. After Neha left, Ravi sat by the window, holding the basket. Outside, the stars began to shine softly, and the lake reflected their light like tiny diamonds. He thought about Baba's stories, how strength wasn't always loud or aggressive, but quiet and steady, like the lake itself. Ravi felt a new hope. Maybe he could protect the cabin not just by standing firm, but by building friendships, too. But deep inside, he knew the challenges were not over. Karen and her son would not give up easily. Still, with people like Neha by his side, and his family ready to support him, Ravi believed that peace was possible. He whispered softly to the night, this cabin will stay in my family. No matter what. And for the first time in a long time, the lake felt like home again. Days passed, and the peaceful rhythm of the lake cabin slowly began to return. Ravi felt more confident, especially with Arjun and Neha's support. The small birdhouse hanging by the porch was now home to a family of colorful birds, their cheerful songs adding life to the mornings. But Ravi knew this calm was only part of the story. The tension with Karen and her son still hung in the air like a quiet storm waiting to break. One afternoon, Ravi decided to host a small gathering. He wanted to invite neighbors who seemed kind and friendly, people like Neha and her family. Maybe by bringing everyone together, he could build trust and show that the cabin was a place for friendship, not conflict. He sent out simple invitations and hoped for the best. The day of the gathering arrived, and the sun was warm, shining through the tall pine trees. Ravi cleaned the cabin one last time and set out homemade snacks and tea. Arjun helped arrange chairs around the porch. Slowly, neighbors began to arrive. Neha brought her children, and a few others followed, including a quiet couple who lived 2 houses down. Ravi greeted each one warmly, feeling his nervousness fade. As the afternoon turned into evening, stories were shared, laughter echoed, and the lake seemed to glow with happiness. The children played by the water's edge, chasing butterflies and skipping stones. Ravi looked around and realized this was exactly what Baba had hoped for, a place where people could come together, find peace, and create new memories. But just as the sun began to set, casting golden light over the lake, a sudden voice interrupted the warmth. Ravi, what do you think you're doing? Karen appeared at the edge of the gathering, her arms crossed tightly. Her face was stern, and her eyes burned with anger. The crowd fell silent. Ravi stepped forward calmly. Karen, this is a friendly gathering. Everyone is welcome. Karen shook her head. This cabin is a problem. You don't follow the rules. And now, you're inviting people to break them with you. Neha spoke up gently, Karen, no one is breaking rules. We're just trying to build a community. Karen's son stood beside her, frowning. Dad wants that cabin, and we're not going to stop. Ravi looked at the boy and saw confusion and hope mixed in his eyes. The same boy who once admired the cabin now stood ready to take it away. Ravi took a deep breath and spoke softly. This cabin is more than wood and nails. It's a home filled with memories, love, and respect. I hope you understand that someday. Karen didn't reply. She turned and walked away, leaving a quiet tension behind her. The neighbors looked at Ravi with respect and support. One by one, they nodded, showing they believed in what he said. Later that night, Ravi sat by the fireplace with Arjun. That was harder than I expected, he admitted. Arjun smiled kindly. Change is never easy. But you showed strength and kindness. That's what matters. Ravi nodded. I want to protect this place, not just with rules, but with heart. Arjun's eyes twinkled. Then you're on the right path. The next morning, Ravi received a surprising visitor. It was Karen's son, alone this time, holding a small notebook. Hi, Ravi, the boy said quietly. Ravi smiled gently. Hello. What brings you here? The boy hesitated, then held out the notebook. I wanted to show you something. My dad tells me to ask for the cabin, but I don't want to fight. I want to understand. Ravi opened the notebook and found drawings of the lake, the cabin, and even the little birdhouse. The boy had sketched the things he admired but didn't know how to say. That's beautiful, Ravi said. You see the cabin with kind eyes. That means a lot. The boy smiled shyly. Can you teach me about the lake? About your family? Ravi nodded warmly. I'd like that. In that moment, Ravi realized something important. Sometimes, hearts could change when given a chance. As the boy left, Ravi felt a new hope for the future. The cabin wasn't just a place to protect, it was a bridge that could connect old stories with new ones. That evening, Ravi called Maya again. There's hope here, he said softly. Not just for the cabin, but for everyone. Maya smiled through the phone. I'm proud of you, Ravi. Keep believing. Ravi looked out at the lake, where the stars reflected like sparkling lights. He knew the journey was far from over, but now, he wasn't alone. With quiet strength, kindness, and an open heart, he was ready to face whatever came next. The days after the visit from Karen's son felt lighter for Ravi. The boy's notebook full of drawings had opened a small door of hope. Ravi knew that change could start with simple steps and honest conversations. The lake cabin was not just a place to live, it was a place to heal and bring people together. Early one morning, Ravi decided to take a walk to the nearby community center. He wanted to see if there were any neighborhood events or meetings where he could learn more about the people around the lake. As he approached the building, he heard the sound of children laughing and the smell of fresh paint. Inside, the room was busy with preparations for a community art show. Local families were painting, drawing, and working together to decorate the space. Ravi recognized some faces from the lake neighborhood, including Neha and her children. "Ravi!" Neha called, waving him over. "We're making posters for the art show. Would you like to join?" Ravi smiled and joined them. As he painted bright pictures of the lake and trees, he felt a sense of belonging. The simple act of creating something together made him realize how much he wanted to be part of this community. During a break, Ravi noticed Karen standing near the entrance, watching quietly. Their eyes met for a brief moment. Instead of the usual tension, Ravi offered a small nod of greeting. Karen hesitated but then gave a faint smile before turning away. That small gesture felt like a step forward. Later, Arjun stopped by the cabin with a box of old photographs. "I found these in Baba's things," he said. "They show the lake neighborhood many years ago." Ravi took the photos carefully. Some were black and white, others faded with time. There were pictures of families enjoying picnics, children playing by the water, and neighbors gathered for celebrations. "These pictures tell stories," Arjun said softly. "Stories of friendship, kindness, and community." Ravi looked at the photos and thought about how much had changed and how much could still be saved. Inspired by the photos, Ravi invited some neighbors to a small picnic at the lake shore. He wanted to recreate the warmth and friendship from the old days. The day of the picnic was bright and sunny. Neha and her family came, along with the quiet couple from down the street and even Karen's son, who arrived with a shy smile. Ravi watched as children played games and adults shared food and stories. The laughter and joy reminded him why he fought so hard to keep the cabin. As the sun began to set, Karen approached Ravi quietly. "Thank you for today," she said, her voice softer than before. "I was wrong to judge you so quickly." Ravi smiled warmly. "It means a lot to hear that. We all want the same thing, a happy neighborhood." Karen nodded. "Maybe there's a way to work together, after all." That night, Ravi sat on the porch, looking out at the lake's calm surface. The journey was not over, but the walls between neighbors had started to come down. He thought about Baba's words that strength was not just about holding firm but about opening one's heart. With Arjun's guidance, Neha's friendship, and even Karen's change of heart, Ravi felt the quiet power of community growing around him. He whispered to the stars, "This cabin is home, not just for me, but for all of us." And under the peaceful sky, surrounded by the gentle sounds of nature, Ravi knew that the best was still to come. The summer days at the lake were growing shorter, and the colors of the trees were starting to change. Leaves turned gold, red, and orange, creating a beautiful carpet on the ground. Ravi loved this time of year. It reminded him that change was natural and sometimes necessary. The cabin stood strong, surrounded by new friendships and hope. The neighbors had begun to see Ravi and his family as part of the community, not outsiders. Even Karen's attitude had softened. She was still careful, but the coldness had melted into respect. One crisp morning, Ravi sat on the porch with Arjun, sipping hot tea. "It feels different now," Ravi said quietly. "Like the cabin is alive again, not just with memories, but with new stories." Arjun smiled. "That's because you never gave up. Your heart kept the cabin alive." Ravi thought about all the days since he returned. The warnings, the doubts, the tension, and now, this peace. It had not been easy, but every moment was worth it. Later that day, Ravi invited the neighbors to a small celebration at the lake shore. It was a simple event, but full of meaning. They planned to plant a tree together, a symbol of growth, strength, and unity. Families gathered with shovels and seedlings. Children laughed as they helped dig the earth. Neha's children sang songs, and even Karen's son joined in, carrying a small watering can with a proud smile. As Ravi planted the tree, he looked around at the faces shining with happiness and hope. He felt a deep sense of gratitude. This was more than just a cabin by the lake. It was a home built on trust and kindness. Karen approached him, her voice gentle. "Ravi, thank you for showing us the true meaning of community. I see now that this place belongs to all of us, not just to one person or family." Ravi nodded. "And I'm glad to be part of it." The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the lake. The new tree stood tall, ready to grow strong with the seasons. As night fell, Ravi sat by the fireplace in the cabin. He opened an old book of stories that Baba had once loved. Each story spoke of hope, courage, and the power of family. He thought about his journey, how the past had shaped the present, and how the present was building the future. Ravi picked up his phone and called Maya. "We did it," he said softly. "The cabin is more than just a place now. It's a community." Maya smiled on the other end. "I'm so proud of you, Ravi. You kept your family's spirit alive." Before hanging up, Ravi looked out the window at the stars twinkling over the lake. The peaceful night air wrapped around him like a gentle hug. He whispered to himself, "No matter what comes, we are ready. Together." And with that, Ravi closed his eyes, feeling the quiet strength of the lake cabin, a place where memories, love, and new beginnings would always live.